I have another song that I was going to play from. Is our rock star in the chat room at all? Yes. Okay. Well, we've been working on this song. Me and Michael Ritchie. He's out there right now. I wanted to get him in here today, but I don't know where I do have the. Never mind. And we've been working on this song. Or he's got a song, and I just thought it was, really some great work on his part, and yours truly, I got to add some synthesizer because I sort of have a knack for that. So I'm actually on the record as well. But it's him. I've really encouraged him, and I think after you hear this, you'll encourage him to really take the singing seriously because he's really it's a big. So this is I promised you guys that I was going to have something really hip, so hard rocker. I mean, it's got the passion of the angry man passion, the angry young man passion, right? That sort of whole thing that we used to be. But anyway, we're gonna play it right now, and. I think it's a pretty powerful, fun song, and we'll talk about it. But I wonder if I should, Trish, can we do some audio verite and just see if we can get him in here on Skype? Just tell him. I'm telling him now. Let's see. How would I do that? I'm going to go ahead and. You don't have to do it right now. We'll get you in there. I'm just trying to get to a position where I can do that. Okay, and then because I want to, we might have some questions to ask you after what caused you to. Let me see if I can get through to a. Okay, there's the. Let's see if I can. You'll hear my end. This may not be the right moment, but I'm doing this completely impromptu. Okay, yeah. Would you like to talk to me too right now? Okay. Stand by. We're going to play this song now, and so I urge you to listen on like what you were listening to, and then after the song is, as you know, the kicker, which is the name of the song, is 4 minutes and it's about 4 minutes and 7 seconds. And so then afterwards, I'd love to, people will probably have a couple questions to ask you, or they might give you some feedback. And, so this is kind of fun. I've never done this before. I love doing something different. Yeah. Okay. So here we go. This is, Michael Ritchie's song, The Kicker. And I know you're going to get a lot out of it. So here we go.
Love it, the way I'm going.
Okay. So here we are. Let me see if I got Michael with me here. You there? Can you hear me?
You there, Zeph?
Yes, we can hear you.
Cool.
We're doing this on the fly. That's what I love. There's no guarantee. This is, I just patched you in, and there you are, and it looks like we're not having a technical difficulty, correct?
Awesome.
Okay, well, now that takes a lot of energy to do a track, to sing a track like that. That's a lot of passion put into it's about, I guess, a relationship breaking up and someone getting kicked out of the house, right?
Well,
or something like that.
It's called The Kicker. I guess it's about getting kicked out or kicking someone out. Yeah.
So yeah, it just gets to that point. But I've had a lot of fun with it, and it's it's like a very, very enjoyable track. And you certainly sing. We haven't heard a lot of you singing. I mean, I've heard you recently, but it's like it seems to be. That's a direction that, you're going, and you do it very well. It's like you have your own distinct kind of heavy rock. And, I hate to say this, Michael, but it's almost like you sort of maybe 20 years earlier, I wish you were around. You know what I'm saying? Because you could have run the table then. But here we are, and here you are, a listener to the Zeph Report, and obviously following the Lord, Jesus Christ, and coming up with songs like that, which a lot of people would say, well, that's very satanic, Michael. What do you have to say? I mean, that's just terrible, that rock and roll. I mean, we need, where's the praise music? And I'm here to say, well, Michael does a lot of different kinds of music. That's not the only music he does. But this was from your old band, right?
Yeah, the original song is about, say, 3 or 4 years old.
Okay.
And it wasn't as polished and as heavy as that. It was originally in a higher key, and it was sung by a female. But what I'm kind of feeling with the song at the moment is it's kind of actually very reflective of the situation that I'm in right now with my life. Like. Mm-hmm. I'm working on a video for it that I'm going to upload to YouTube. Mm-hmm. And, you'll see by the video kind of what it's about. It's kind of, it's much about being on the verge of being homeless, man. Okay.
Let's get the wheres, wherefores and all that. You go by the disorderly fashion.
Yeah.
So you go by the disorderly fashion on YouTube. Yes. Okay, so the disorderly fashion is
that's right.
It's like a band name, and then Michael Ritchie's the star of the show there. So that's where you can go on YouTube to see this video that's going to be coming your way, and also others. I know you've done videos on spiritual warfare and how to handle gang stalking, and those are very helpful.
Yeah. Those videos, I took them off because I was kind of embarrassed about them.
No, well, that goes with the territory.
I'm really just focusing on music at the moment. Mm-hmm. I'm not focusing on, just talking and stuff. I don't know. I just felt like, I was going through a time where I was kind of getting all hyped up about, spiritual warfare and all that. But I don't know. I don't know. I just don't want to do that anymore.
But it comes in handy because, thing is we all engage in a what you might call spiritual war or prayer warfare.
Yeah.
And we all need to pray constantly because there are people that will attack you for no reason, and people that will target you for no reason, and people that will, if they can ruin your day, they'll try to. And there has to be some protection. You can't just have God's people walking around out there just with a target on their back, who's being ready to be attacked at any moment. And you're not alone, though. I mean, there's a lot of people, that wonder what the future will bring. I'm sure you're saying you're worrying about being homeless and what's going to happen. And is that because you're that you feel like you identify with being a lamb, right? And being a lamb of God and being, in other words, that not fitting into the world system or being a misfit.
Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely. you know, like I was getting really angry at like everyone in this whole country, man. Like it sounds bad, but
No, I
like,
was too. Yeah,
you know,
I
like
do.
the only friends I have really are on the Zeph report. Like that's as weird as that sounds, man.
Well, we're a merry band of misfits. We're misfits to the misfits. So
Yeah.
you know we're and you know and you know like I don't have a goal here. My goal is to keep things on a low key if possible, and you know and just kind of like
It's gonna blow up, Zeph. We're both gonna go commercial.
well. You know that can happen, and then if that happens, then you need to call that like the Isaac experience, because Isaac, when Sarah and Abraham had Isaac, Isaac means laughter. You know what I mean? They couldn't believe, you know, they had a child at like what was she 65 and he's like 85, you know, and they have a child and they just couldn't believe it, so they just start laughing. You know, if there is any kind of worldly anything, if the Lord opens the door. And there's success, which absolutely, you have every every right to claim it, because you know if you can pull that off on stage. And I know your performance, by the way. There's no overdubbing here with Michael. That was it. And you know all I did was mix it. You know I mixed and mastered, but you know the other part of the production, the performances and all that was already, the vocal mix was already there. I added things and did things and what we audio engineers do, right? But that's the same thing you would get on stage, right? If you're on stage, you'd probably be exhausted after doing an hour of that. But I mean, you could deliver, right, on that vocal front.
Yeah, well, I've been thinking about all this music stuff like for like over 15 years, like, and it's like I've just always wanted to do it, and I've just I always try and get better and better. Mm-hmm. And I naturally get better as I keep doing it, Like,
right. Well, that's a very great, in my opinion. That's a rock song. It's just got everything you want in it, especially that kicker at the end. Very unexpected. It just really kicks it into a nice finish. And I love the power of the chorus, of how it breaks from the kind of, rollicking along with a nice kind of a fun beat. It's almost like a pop beat. And then it just goes into this hard rock chorus with the big chords. And then it comes back out again. It does something kind of playful again. And then it gets ready and it goes again, totally satisfying. I mean, I'm totally there. It reminded me of like some of it vintage Stone Temple Pilots, and, although it kicks more, you know what I mean? It's less produced, if you will, and more raw. And then it has kind of like a punk metal feel, because the cymbals are just, Michael did the drums. He had programmed the drums, pretty much exactly what he needed with a multi-track drumming program that he's got. And that cymbal that keeps hitting is just, the washy cymbal. It's like that's just more typical of punk music, right?
Yeah, well, I think how it goes faster at the end. That was the thing we used to do a lot in the band. Like we'd have like a verse and a chorus and a verse and a chorus, and then just go like all out at the end. Like that was just kind of our style back in the day.
Yeah, that's great. I love that. I wanted that part to go on longer, actually. Because I was just getting into that. I mean, you can almost make that a twofer. Where you get the one thing, you go right into the next song and make that a two-song single, right?
Yeah.
But again, that kind of power and passion in that vocal is, that's what rock was all about. That's what punk was all about. That's what the whole thing was, is get out that anger, be a venting of things, have all that energy. And, as you get older, from my perspective, I'm old enough to be, your grandfather almost. So as you get older, it gets more refined, right? And it's
no one can control me anymore, Zeph.
Uh-oh.
Like, I think this is like a response to just being like oppressed, like, my whole life. And it's like, I was a little rascal as a kid, man. So it's like, I don't know. It's like no one wants to know me, but like this, I just focus on this with all my time, you know.
Mm-hmm. Well, you got great instincts. I just had this vision of you being, like Ritchie. You named Michael Ritchie, so Ritchie, like going with the last name and having that's the act, and that's what people want to see. They want to see you go crazy on stage, and I think it'd be. You also have a lot of great instincts with video making. And I should mention. I
see this video. I think you're gonna like this video, man.
I'm sure I will.
It's basically just filmed on my phone, by myself. But I'm doing, I'm making it cool, yeah.
You have a good eye. You have good film instincts too, because I've seen other videos, and they're all very watchable. So anyway, he is the, and then they can reach you on Facebook as you, right? Or is it?
Yeah, Michael Ritchie.
Okay, and Michael is from Down Under, right? You love it down there, right? I'm just kidding.
I hate it.
He hates it. You keep thinking you want to come to the United States like all kids do with their guitars. And I would hate.
No, seriously, Zeph, I'm thinking somewhere more like what you were talking about the other day. Where it's like 30 years behind. I'm thinking that, man.
Well, that's what a friend of mine told me about an island. And I'm not going to say what island it is because I don't want to ruin it. But it's like an island. I think it belongs to Mexico or something like that. And it's in the Caribbean. And it's. I think that my friend went there. He and his wife went on a cruise. They went to like Cozumel and then this other island. He said it was like going back in time to when it used to be cool to go to Mexico and stuff before it became this like nightmare thing, with the cartels and all that. And but they did have guys on the beach with machine guns. They did, and the reason those guys were there apparently is to protect the tourists. So you're getting your suntan, and the guy with the machine gun's your friend, right? You're amigo, right? Because he's making sure they don't come in the jet skis and murder you and take your your gold watch or whatever, right? So it's just it's amazing, and I don't know if I don't know if I could handle it.
Safe with that, like I'd rather a dude with a machine gun. Like I'd feel safe with that, like. Even though it's intimidating and stuff, but like I'd rather that.
Well, why not? That's the thing about the schools. I mean, they've just been, easy targets for these operatives. That's what operatives to work and try to shoot up the school and kill students so they can take our guns. I mean, what other purpose is there, right? So to harden those targets by making them not targets, by having people standing out there with their, the AR-15s or whatever they're going to use. They wouldn't. The people that want to go shoot the place up wouldn't be shooting it up. If they had students come in single file and they had people there with guns. But now we have another argument in this country. Oh, we can't have people with guns at school. We can't. We have airports. We have every other thing going on, banks, and all that hardened, but not schools where precious children are. That's great. If you came here. It would not be long, Michael, my prediction, before you start writing music about how messed up things are.
Well, why don't we just have guns everywhere? I
love guns.
RoboCop machines walking around with guns, like you have 20 seconds to comply.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing we face. And all that, and I keep thinking, that I would like to visit before this is all over. I would love to visit Australia. And
come visit me, man.
I want to see. Got a friend in Tasmania. A shout out to him. He makes amplifiers and makes Class A. The kind of amplifiers that you'd have in audiophile type. Very rarefied. Monoblock amps.
Yeah,
that have zero distortion, and they go into like Sony studios in Hollywood and different. And he started off just making these amplifiers in his garage.
Yeah, man.
And now supplying like Sony big studios and stuff. In fact, some of his amplifiers are in celebrities. I'll just say celebrity in California. And I was like, how did that all get? I just want my passion to do it. And I just started building these amplifiers. And then suddenly I started having customers. And I remember we prayed for him to be successful and make a go of it so he could, spend time with his family and, you know what I mean? And there's, there's not a ton of opportunity on the island of Tasmania. It's just a beautiful place to go, right?
Yeah, it's exactly the same as Australia, but there's like way more trees and stuff,
Yeah. Then there's New Zealand. I mean, there's a whole tour down there that you can, and then there's, and then working your way back from Australia, that I would think, you can hit some of
Antarctica
or going the other way up to Indonesia and whatnot. That's not that far, I like wandering.
I've never left Australia, man. Like I've never seen, I've only been to a few different states in Australia, man. Like it's just, all I can say is it's simple, man. Like it's got everything, but like, it's not the same, That's all I can say,
Well,
yeah, I think everyone these days, like to me has the same look on their face, man. Like
I just watched an Australian zombie movie, and it was great. I forget the name of it though. It was great. I love movies like that have no other purpose than just a messed up situation and messed up, and it was phenomenal. And gosh, I can't remember the name of it. They tried to make it like it wasn't in the marketing, like it wasn't really a zombie movie, but then it was. Like if you get bit by one of these guys, one of these humans, you have like 48 hours before you turn into one too.
I'm never going to turn into a zombie, man.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, I just wanted to get you in here, and folks, get over to you have SoundCloud too. SoundCloud is the Disorderly Fashion.
I've got nothing up there at the moment. I took everything down.
Okay.
I'm gonna probably upload the WAV file probably that you sent me, but I'm focusing on YouTube at the moment.
Right. Make sure that, if you can use that H.264 setting on your rendering the video, it'll keep the audio in, I don't know if it's the same, it'll keep it at high quality.
Yeah, and it's I found that it even renders quicker like than what I was using before, and it looks better and stuff.
Yeah,
so
Cool, yeah. YouTube, I read, I get into the minutia, and they were recommending that you use that setting. I noticed that when I put a WAV file in the video and I use that H.264 setting, that it does a good job with the audio too. I'm very happy with the audio. So, so that's just a little tip. And then YouTube likes it because that's what they want. And so they're going to give you the best look, the best bang for the buck. Yeah. Anyway, so my guest here is the author of the song called The Kicker, and that's going to be out on a video, and he's Zeph Report. He's just a young listener, and I know there's young people out there listening and waiting for me to put something younger, musically younger out there. Well, I'm not younger, so here's Michael. So please, he's younger, and meaning that he's with what's happening with the hard rock and all that. I had my days, but please, support his efforts. Because he's great. He's got it and then some. It's actually, maybe it's too easy for him. God's gifted him in this music. I know Kelly feels the same way, and we've had some, talk about you while we were doing that track. I know she was just, cause you can do any kind of music. It's not like you just do hard rock or just a real hard driving thing like this. You do lots of different things and ambient things, and you have a whole sonic thing that you do, kind of like what I do. Which is, I like a lot of ambient. I like a lot of, kind of cinematic, type of things that give you kind of mental images, you know what I mean? That you can kick back and sort of takes you on a little journey. But anyway, he's got all that. So it's the Disorderly Fashion, and he's in the chat room too. And just give him some love.
Can I say something, Zeph?
Give him some love. Yeah, go ahead,
Zeph. If anyone's interested in supporting me, financially with whatever, you can download songs on Bandcamp. So the Disorderly Fashion at Bandcamp,
right? And
you can order stickers, for like.
What about guitar lessons? How about guitar lessons?
Yeah, I could teach you guitar. Like I'd love to, Okay,
so he's got a guitar lesson thing he was putting out there also as a way of keeping things going, and that's I'll let your video explain that to people. But yeah, he's pretty much a master at guitar.
I can do it on Skype too if you want. Like if you're overseas or whatever, you know, we can do it on Skype or you know whatever.
See, that's what I was thinking. I'm thinking of a couple of young people right now that need guitar lessons, and I'm thinking if you could Skype, that would be the ideal way to do it. You know, and then you give a lesson, then you have to go practice, then you come back, and then you learn a little more, right? It's hard. I mean, part of it has to be motivation. The teacher can't do it for you.
Yeah.
But I would rather learn from someone like you that's actually doing it than someone that's just teaching and that's all they do.
Mm.
Okay. All right, Michael. Well, thank you for being there. I need to go back into some heavy. You've been a breath of fresh air for me, but I have to go back into some. I've got to get back into finishing this talk up about what's been horrifying me the last, I'd say, about 9 hours now. Is this irony?
Okay, Zeph.
Well, let me ask your opinion. Do you think the world is in better shape in the last, say, 4 or 5 years, or worse? It just from looking out at the world.
No, like I feel like personally, I just like for ages I've felt uncomfortable, man. Like, you know, I don't feel comfortable. You know, like I don't like. It's more of a personal thing for me. Like I just can't pretend to just ignore this stuff anymore. You know, like
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like a lot of people are just like, you know, putting on a straight face and just holding a bunch of, you know, crap inside, and I don't know.
Yeah,
I think it's hard. It's hard, man.
I know what you mean. I almost feel like I woke up and where everybody knows has some secret, and they're all putting on a mask, and they're all mad at me because I'm not going to jump into their whatever it is they're into. And
that's me, man. That's my world, dude.
And they're just now at long last, I find out because you know we always like to take numbers, right? We say, well, it's maybe a third of the population, and maybe it's half, or now it's like, oh my God, maybe it's like 90%. There's only like 10% of the people still left that aren't.
Dude, I'm the only one in Australia.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! You get it. Okay, round of applause. The only one in Australia left who has not been taken by the zombies. The zombies, well, zombies love Australia. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take off here, Michael. Thanks for joining us. We're going to put on another. It's been an interesting day musically, so let's continue, and I'll be right back, everybody.
All right, thanks.
Coming.